let's do a little round around the room. I see there's some familiar faces, but also some new ones. Let me start with my favorite news outlet, Forbes. How are you doing?
Hello, everybody. We are doing great. My name is Manny. I'm the VP of Web3 at Forbes, and I'm so excited to be here with this great panel. NFTs are really going through a movement right now, especially in the music space. So it's going to be a really exciting talk. Happy to be here.
Yeah, great to have you on. Matt can tell something about what we do with NFTs, and later on. I'm actually a member of Forbes Web3. I believe I've got the NFT, and I try to read all your articles.
That's great to hear. So I will say the Legacy Pass is not out yet. We are revealing the benefits next week, and I'm so excited for them. It's, as someone that has been in the Web3 space for 4 or 5 years, we have never seen anything like this before. So really excited to share and really excited to have you as a part of it.
Cool. That sounds amazing. Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit later. Yeah, Glypher, is that the right way to pronounce it? How are you?
Yes, sir. Yeah, thanks for having me. I love your all spaces. Glad to be a part of it. We're Evm Inscription Marketplace. We'll be adding Bitcoin soon, but if you're all into discovering inscriptions, buying inscriptions, we built a layer 0 protocol. You can bridge inscriptions across platforms, and you can also stake inscriptions on our site. So I'm also super into NFTs though, and I produce house music, so I can participate in this conversation with an educated perspective, I believe.
That's amazing. I love house. I love house as well.
Yeah, I'm on Spotify, baby.
Nice. Masma, how are you doing?
Share your link, man. Share your music link. We want to hear it.
Yeah, put it in the comments. Let's have a look.
All right.
Masma, what's up?
Hi, how are you? I'm Matt McGinnis. I work with Masma. I know some of you may have met Julian, who's our founder that's done some spaces. And I've got a lot of crypto experience, a lot of blockchain experience, love NFTs, look forward to the conversation, but I'm not a musician. So I'll be paying close attention. I do love what NFTs can do for the music industry, though. Nice.
Yeah, like it's not everyone in this space is musician, but everyone listens to music, I would say, right? So, we're all enjoying it in some way or another. The Tipsy Company, that's a nice name. What's up?
Hey, thank you for having us. We love to just bring joy and happiness. It's fun, right? We build games. We want to bring people together, bring communities. And I think this topic is super exciting, something we can relate to as well. Music is one part of the arts. Culture is something very close to my heart as well. So looking forward to this. And nice to see some familiar faces. I'm forever tipsy here. You'll see a few fellow penguins in the house. We are just here to give you guys some love.
Good stuff. We love that. We love the great energy. Next up, Rami, how are you?
Hello, everyone. My name is Rami. I'm the client integration of XP.NETWORK. XP.NETWORK is the NFT bridge, and we support currently 30 blockchain. And thank you for having us.
Great stuff. Who else is in the house? Maybe I'm skipping someone. I'm not sure. Am I? Maybe not. Yeah, let's talk about what NFTs do for us. Like, what do they unlock and empower? And I don't know if someone wants to kick off with the conversation, but otherwise, I would say in this space you can just tap in, tune in whenever you want. You don't have to raise your hands, but like if you feel like you can't get into a conversation, definitely raise your hands or so. But maybe we can start with Forbes. I heard you were looking at the benefits of the Legacy Pass. Want to hear more about that, actually. And I think more of us in the room.
Absolutely. Happy to share. One thing that Forbes wanted to make very clear when we entered this space is we wanted to be as granular as possible as we can in Web3. I'm a firm believer that Web3 is an ecosystem where you can't be kind of in. You have to be truly part of every single ecosystem in Web3 because the space moves very fast and there's a lot of exciting stuff that's always happening in this world. And so when Forbes decided that, hey, we're going to go all in on this ecosystem, we believe in it, we're going to support it, we're going to support the builders, the creators that are making it, that's exactly what we did. We built this in-house team from the ground up, and we've built everything from scratch. The legacy pass is something that our team has been building. We've been living on for the past almost 6-7 months now. And it's so exciting to finally see it come to fruition. The idea really came about because we got a lot of inbound from the community itself. That's one thing we tell our Web2 brand friends quite often, where when you don't know what product to build, what to create and add value to the space, just go to the community, go to the people, and see what they are looking for. So when we entered into Web3, we immediately got a ton of inbound. Like Forbes, we're a legacy brand. This is a household name. We've been able to establish a name for ourselves, and we've just started getting a lot of DMs from founders, creators, builders, people that have a 9-to-5, but they're working on their side hustle, and they ask for support. They ask for value. Like, can you make this connection? Can we get spotlight on Forbes? Can we get support? Can we be in Twitter Spaces? Can we get backing? And that's when we realized there needs to be sort of like this super niche community just for these people that are building, people that have aspirations, people that want to go next level in the Web3 space. And that's exactly what the Legacy Pass is all about. The benefits are very curated for this audience, and it is different than what you typically see. It's a soul-bound token. We're extremely excited about soul-bound technology. I think it's a technology that is overlooked, and we haven't even really tapped into its potential. So this is kind of like our starting point. Next week, we are announcing the benefits one at a time, but just some quick alpha. So one of the benefits I'm really excited about is we are going to have some spotlight items for all of our holders in our coverage, whether we're talking magazine, whether we're talking about site, there's going to be some really cool ways for us to really showcase the builders and the holders in our community and what they're building.
Great. That sounds good. I think holders will be very happy with that. How do you become a holder?
So, man, you're asking all the juicy questions. I love it. Again, not public yet, but I'm going to share it here just for PopEx and our cool audience here. We want to be very thoughtful, right? Of who do we back, who do we support? Because these are the people that we're going to dedicate all of our time and resources into. And so even the allow list, for example, it's not going to be your typical allow list. It's actually going to be an application process. Very similar to like our under 30 list where you apply, and Forbes' internal team is going to vet and do due diligence and is going to see like, hey, do we want to back you? Do we want to spend these next several years supporting you and growing with you? And again, this is strategic because we want to make sure we grow alongside the builders and what projects they're working on. So I can't wait for that to roll out. It's coming in the next couple of weeks.
Good. Yeah, I'll definitely figure out what that entails. Nice. I'm looking forward to how that will empower people. I think it's a good move of Forbes, right? How many of these passes are there? Is there an amount set for it?
Sorry, can you say that again? Did you ask how many passes are there?
Yeah, how many passes are there?
Yeah, it's 1917. So it's almost 2000. That number is very special to us. That is Forbes' founding year. It's a remembrance of how long we've been here and all the technological advancements and human progress we've seen. And Web3 is absolutely next, right? So we're really, really bullish and all in on this space.
Good stuff. Yeah, we see more media coming into the space. I've seen some kind of legacy media coming in, like Forbes, but also some new media that are trying to find new ways of connecting. I would say, I guess, news with holders or audiences, especially in Web3. You can do so much more, right, with media in Web3. Matt, how is things going with our NFT?
Yeah, real good. I guess now all the kind of contracts are signed and everything, we can kind of let people know what's happening. So we kind of wanted to do a music focused NFT that kind of helps like the whole ecosystem, really, not just kind of chasing after one artist's fan base and kind of monetizing that, because it's kind of short lived. So we've signed a partnership with Animal Brands. We're releasing a collection called The Producers. And how the producers works is by purchasing an NFT, you become a member and a producer, and then you start on the kind of songwriting journey with the artist and with the songwriters. With the money that's generated from the collection, we're going to create songwriting camps all over the world. We've partnered with Notting Hill Music, Warner, Yards in London, Zen 8, Abbey Road, Miami. And these are going to be kind of providing the songwriters to the camps and kind of facilitating the places we do them as well. And the next point then is when the songs are wrote, it's going to be a little different to the normal writing camps. So people are going to write two sets of choruses, maybe different sets of lyrics with different meanings, use different sounds for the drops. And what happens then is, as a producer, as a holder, you get to vote on your favorite chorus or your favorite kind of direction you wanted the song to go, and then ultimately that shapes the end of the song. By voting, you are actually part of the creative process. So it's not a kind of investment. There's a security. We don't need to kind of, like worry about any of that because you are actually part of this process. The benefit for the writers is you get to, run your songs past, say, like 3,000 people. Then when you're delivering it to artists or to labels, you kind of say, look, I've had the opinion of 3,000 people who are into this, into the music, and they've contributed. And then we distribute it through our label network then, which is absolutely massive. We can kind of get to anyone. And then when the songs are released, 30% of the royalties come back to the actual holders as well. So just an example, at the last writing camp, we did like a test writing camp with Abbey Road with the guys that were doing it. And the tracks on the camp created close to kind of billion streams. So as an NFT holder, your yields will be kind of about $800 to $1,000 just off the first writing camp. And obviously, like, the money that's kind of generated up front enables us to bring new writers into the ecosystem who perhaps can't afford it. And it also like gives incentive for those bigger writers to kind of go to these locations because they're not at a loss. So like ultimately it's kind of supercharging the whole writing artist label ecosystem and like creating a decentralized record label that's run on the premise of everyone's benefiting. And the flip side then is when you release your song, you've got like 3,000 plus people who've got an interest in it, so they're going to start promoting it, and you just kind of create this like a wave effect that hasn't really been seen in kind of traditional record labels before. So yeah, we're really excited about that.
There was some really cool alpha out there, Matt. I mean, I think you said you mentioned a few very valid points. You're able to disrupt the middleman, right? Through this space, like the current model is broken. Streaming services, they pay artists fractions of a penny per play. I think labels still continue to take a huge cut, and it's near impossible for independent, like the smaller musicians to gain traction. So NFTs as a direct connection just enable artists to be able to mint music as the NFTs, have a closer relationship to their fans because they can sell directly to their fans, maybe even set their own terms. So it's quite exciting. I mean, it really cultivates to the notion of being able to build a sustainable career, because the creative space is sometimes shunned upon. I'm based in Singapore, right? And in this part of the world, it's all about, okay, you need to pursue something in the medical space or in the legal space. It seems to be a bit traditional sometimes. But music NFTs can generate royalties, and we're talking about it being a long-term thing, a long-term income stream for artists that don't need to rely on unsustainable like touring or mass appealing hits, because touring is expensive as well, right? I mean, you need a huge budget for that. So I think the whole notion of being able to empower fans as true stakeholders, because they have, kind of these passes. I mean, like what Forbes said earlier, being able to have legacy passes, in this case, music passes, maybe driving a sense of ownership, maybe even cultivating a stronger emotional bond between the fans and the artists. So those are some really exciting stuff I'm looking forward to myself. I mean, who doesn't like music?
Yeah, 100%. I think like the kind of unique angle we're coming from here as well is, this isn't just for kind of the new artists. Like a bit of my background, I signed my first record deal when I was like 16, 17, toured for like 10 years in a rock band, like kind of went from playing to front like kind of small clubs to tens of thousands a night and touring heavily. Following on from that, I got into writing dance music, signed over 150 record deals, had a few billion streams, and you can sustain a living out of it. And it's not easy, but then I think any kind of career that so many people are after, there is this aspect of competition that's there. Everyone wants to play football for Real Madrid and Man United, but unfortunately, there's a bar you've got to kind of hit to be able to do it. Just because you want Ronaldo's wages don't mean you can hit a free kick like him. And I think that kind of gets lost in music sometimes. But I think what this kind of offers is you'll see a lot more breakthrough artists kind of come through this system, because even though the people involved, like say some of the biggest kind of songwriting syndicates in the world, they're definitely not short of cash, but what it means is they can take a chance on a new artist that they probably wouldn't take a chance on before, because you've got this community of 3,000 plus behind it, which will generate enough early interest to kind of catapult our artists from zero. Whereas at the moment, when I'm singing songs with people, is how many monthly listeners has the artist got? If they haven't got over 100, 200,000 monthly listeners, it's looked as a negative. And then, even though it's wrong, it's the music business. It's not like the music charity. So the statistics are looked at. Whereas there's times where there's singers that I preferred because they're better singers, and I prefer them as artists. I prefer their vibe and how they are. But, the labels say, well, the figures just aren't there. But what this does is injects an opportunity for the new artists, and kind of relieves the pressure on the writers like myself and other people in the team who would kind of be forced to go with that bigger artist because there's no momentum there. So there's two sides, and then on the bigger artist side, it adds value as well. And that was why I think kind of Animoca have come in like they have with it, and why we're all really kind of excited, PopEx as well.
Man, we should do a little deal here. I want to get access to some exclusive remixes, and in turn, we give you some kick-ass gaming experiences. How does that sound?
Let's do it, bro. Let's do it. It's done. The deal's done. Let's do it.
Well, deals are being made. Send them the DocuSign. Guys,
Comes with an autograph too, right, Matt?
What was that? Sorry?
Comes with your autograph too, on a little label, a digital one,
Yeah,
on the NFT.
I can sort that out for you, bro. No worries about that.
But you mentioned Animoca, right? So I mean, if you talk about the metaverse factor, so just think about music NFTs becoming playable within games, kind of wearable in virtual worlds, and you just unlock this whole new digital experience. That is sick, right? I mean, I'm sure you guys watched Ready Player One. Let's bring this even sooner.
Yeah, I've got something else I want to touch on here as well, because I think there's a media that isn't doesn't exist at the moment that we're gonna need soon, and by kind of putting songs on chain, so the different stems, so when you split the songs up, it can be manipulated. It's going to be something big in the future. So obviously people are building AI games. I think AI movies are going to be very close. But the problem with standard music format at the moment is a song is a song. It if you're playing an AI game and then you get to a bit and it gets more intense and it gets more exciting, the standard music format isn't going to change. Whereas if everything's on chain and we can put these into AI, so it adapts the music, it becomes more intense, more exciting, it chills out as the game's adapting with AI, then you've got this kind of whole new revenue model within music that didn't exist before. And if that's backed by kind of the decentralized community and everything's on chain and everyone's getting paid for the samples and everyone's benefiting from it, it's almost like a huge wave of untapped income that's about to come. And I think the early movers on it are going to be in a good place. Like we're looking to build a really big catalog ready for when it happens, even though there's no real demand for it at the moment. The day there is demand it's going to be a bit of a race to who can kind of get the media in place in time. So that's kind of the other play, and what we've been speaking to Animoca about as well. Obviously they're large in the gaming space, and the main reason why we brought Notting Hill in as well is they own a huge amount of back catalogue from everyone from Tupac, Michael Jackson, Beyonce, and they want other ways to monetize this catalog as well, because as you say, Spotify it's kind of like suffocated the kind of future revenue and like what they used to get. But when we move into kind of this next movement, it's going to be up to the community and us to make the rules, and the artists are going to have the power again. And like, you know, the only way to arrive at that is to create these kind of decentralized labels that are run by community for social good, and not like based on a record company model from 1939, which pretty much every label still runs on now.
Do you anticipate though we're gonna have industry resistance? Like, you know, think of it like major labels and these producers, will they kind of relinquish their power? Or you think, you know, they're just gonna embrace this and want to gradually expand because it's, you know, blockchain
Yeah.
is inevitable, right?
We've already got major labels on board, and you know, some of the songwriters just come in like on these camps. You know, like kind of the old school writers as well. Like we had confirmation from say, like Artful Dodger today. Like the guys wrote for everyone. He's gone platinum a few times, and you know, and like the spinning records guys are interested. We got DJs kind of like Bollier, and these guys are like, you know, at the forefront of music now, and it's coming. Like you can't resist you can't deny the fact that it's coming, and we like myself and Luke, like the other founder, he's on the chat as well. I remember when we signed to Universal and we sat down with the A&R, and they said, oh, you know, we got this really cool new thing called Napster, and they've put your song out and it's been downloaded 1 million times, and we were like, that's so fucking cool. When, you know, we were looking at Porsches and stuff. We were like, well, when's the money coming? And they're like, yeah, I'm sure it's going to come. But, you know, if musicians and artists, you know, labels don't learn from that the first time round, you know, I got no sympathy for them. Like, you know, this is happening, it's coming. I think we're past the point now of saying like, oh, you know, AI is never going to kind of be a large contributor in music or any other kind of creative media. Like, you know, it's happening. Like,
Yeah, you bring back some nostalgia here, Matt. I mean, I now recall the days of your LimeWire and the Pirate Bay. Oh shit, I'm giving up my age now.
Yes, you do. You do give up your age. I think I remember Napster. Downloaded my first video on there. It was a 30-second clip.
yeah,
So yeah,
we should talk about that on you though, mate.
I won't talk about that. So yeah,
Josh.
love the conversation. By the way, guys, like in the last space, we did something cool. For 24 hours, we opened the Discord for OG whitelist roles. So if you love what Matt said, what he explained about the producers NFTs, make sure to join our Discord in the next 24 hours, and you get auto given a role to be considered for the whitelist that's coming up. Cool. Ravel, how are you doing? I really like what you guys are building as well.
Hey, not bad. Good. How are you?
Good.
Yeah. I think we've been on some of your spaces before, but we're an app that allows people to create personal trading cards. So all kinds of creators use the platform, including musicians, and which has been really fun for us. And some of our closest contacts and friends amongst the creator community are musicians who are experimenting in Web3. It's been really interesting to follow their journeys.
Nice one. What I love about Matt, about the producers NFTs, right? Like, you know, no one knows, but I'm not a musician. To be part of the creative process, like I always wanted to make music, you know, and I even bought a VR headset and an app, a DJ app, basically to learn how to mix music. So, you know,
How did that go, Robin?
Well, it's technology from the other guy, Mark Zuckerberg. So I'm not using it that often. I'm too often on Twitter, but like, yeah. So it doesn't go that well, I have to say, you know. But like, there's one kind of thingy we spoke about on if you're a holder of the NFT and actually you don't have time to that, you know, to start contributing to the creative process. There's options there, right?
Yeah, so we've got like a delegate option basically. So, you know, like we're kind of already really ramping up how many songwriting camps we're going to do, and we're looking to produce a lot of music out of this to make it worthwhile. And to keep momentum really, like within the music community and the kind of Web3 community of it. So there's a delegate option, so you can kind of just delegate someone else to pick your preferred kind of medium on with the songs, and then you still kind of get the rewards. You're just kind of giving up your right to vote there, really, because I guess it is time consuming, and it's something that you probably want to dip into and dip out of, and it's music dependent, it's like kind of genre dependent, sorry, as well. Like, you might be into house music, you might be into like rock music, but then you might not listen to pop, so like, is not something you kind of want to get involved with, but you still get a benefit from it because you can delegate also.
Yeah, I really love that. Masma, I would love to know more about what you guys are doing, because it sounds like you guys are unlocking something in DeFi.
Well, over at Masma, we're currently building our wait list because we're building kind of the crypto everything app. We want to make it so that people can get a hold of any token, any NFT on any chain, all through one app. We're using chain abstraction technology. We're using the newest codes, and we're trying to make it so that grandma can get on there and buy NFTs without having to learn everything about the Solana chain or having to download the Phantom wallet and learn how to use all of these DeFi Web3 apps that I think everyone in here knows can be rather challenging because they all have their own little nuances and quirks. So we're trying to make Web3 apps actually accessible and focus on the user experience rather than, well, I think we all know most of the wallets out there. Once you start using one, you get a little attached and you get kind of attached to that chain. If you're into Solana or Binance Smart Chain or Cardano, you get attached to those things and kind of stuck in a rut, so to speak. So we want to make everything accessible to everyone.
Great. Yeah, I think that's super important, especially for the Napster old users that we have here in the space. But like, how did it? I think most, everyone agrees with that. Most, I would say, in this space, think it's a really hard challenge to do, right? Because
yes, it's a big deal.
Polkadot has tried it early on with like interoperability, but people still like to use other chains. So how are you guys setting yourself apart from others that are trying to achieve the same goal in the space?
Well, I think we're seeing a lot of the DeFi marketplaces trying to become more user-friendly in general. But up until recently, we didn't really have the code in place to make it all work. And there have been some breakthroughs over the last couple of years that kind of empower these new innovations. We're not the only ones doing it. There's a few others out there that are also actively building. We're hoping we beat some of them to market, but we're working hard and we're trying to get the word out there at the same time. I think everything's in place that we can pull it off now, but it's no simple feat.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I mean, competition is healthy, right? And also, there's not just one company that makes electric vehicles. Everyone is trying to get there. Tipsy Coin, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, I just want to say I love the approach of onboarding Web2 users seamlessly. What you guys, Masama, what you guys are doing is just really amazing because I'm speaking from the perspective of a game developer, right? And what Web3 games has such a bad notion around it. People just think of reusable assets. People are like, this is not even a game, and then the whole play to earn concept has just disrupted what games are supposed to be built for, which is just fun and bring people together with all the social elements. So I think it's very important. We need to give Web2 users a reason to dive into the Web3 world, to understand blockchain a little bit better, because it can be a very daunting experience, right? We were giving the example of maybe our grandparents. I mean, they would not be able to understand the different networks, chains, and if they get past that stage, they might at some point lose all of their access to scammers out there because they don't even know what seed phrases are, right? So I think it's great that we kind of do this very seamlessly. And, to PopEx's last question about how, one marketplace differentiates itself from the other, I think the market is big enough for several players to kind of coexist, for several platforms to be doing the same thing, the collective mindset. I mean, we should all be here working together, right? Being able to capitalize on each other's synergies, being able to onboard Web2 users. I think that should be the goal.
Yeah,
I completely
Yeah, I
agree.
agree with
Yeah.
that, like 100%. Like, just kind of give everyone a quick outline of like how like what we're doing with like events, like onboarding. So we started kind of we were trying to onboard music fans into Web3, and like I said, we were going for audiences, more like wider audiences. So we did a show in Wembley with Motley Crue, and kind of had a simple thing where people can supercharge a ticket by taking a photo of themselves. AI create an avatar in the background. It creates a wallet for them. So like in essence, they're onboarded to Web3, and then we flash these avatars around and give away prizes. Like it was really cool. We had a massive success rate. We increased the advertising spend for the promoters as well, and like kind of again everyone in that ecosystem got paid. But then what we found after is like those people don't really go back to those wallets or go back to use it. So kind of like going on what the tips is saying is like that's what we've adjusted now. We've built a kind of a game's a bit like Pokemon Go that we're rolling out with Live Nation, and we're not charging the fans, we're not asking them to set up wallets. We're just kind of letting them have fun and connect with artists in a different way. And like for we're doing Download Festival in the summer now, and it's the start of our kind of Live Nation deal, and there's going to be 100,000 people in the field that have a chance to use this game. There's kind of no pressure. We don't need, it's like kind of using GPS, not Wi-Fi, so we're not going to have that problem. And we're just collaborating with as many kind of Web3 projects as we can. If you want your project in a field with 100,000 people, just hit me up and we can kind of sort something out. And then on the kind of back end, then we're creating advertising space that didn't exist before. So the festival's making money, the artists are making money. And like, we're coming in with something fresh and new. We're not coming in saying, this is broken and we're going to solve it. Because like ultimately, even though we all know that artists don't get much money from Spotify, no artists are moving from Spotify at the moment. So like the solution isn't to, and people have tried, people have made streaming platforms that pay artists like 10 times more, but people don't move from it because it's convenient and people stick to what is convenient. So the way to kind of project this onto audiences in Web2 is to create games that are fun, make the experiences better, and like kind of financially benefit the whole ecosystem. Then talk about like how we're going to put things on chain and create wallets for people. And yeah, I just think it's a longer play, and like kind of getting loads of companies together to work together and kind of get it over the line is what's going to make this work. And the major labels formed because lots of indie labels got together and shared their IP, shared their ideas, shared their kind of workload. And yeah, I think that's how it's got to, like with Web3 ultimately is getting a lot more collaborative than it was kind of on the last cycle. I think people are starting to realize. So yeah, just kind of feel strongly about kind of bringing together lots of companies to kind of conquer together. Really.
Yeah, man. Matt, you said it with such precision, right? Being able to onboard users, being able to reach out to them, making this easy for them. Just like we shouldn't separate Web2 and Web3 games. I mean, why can't they just be referred to collectively as games? In the same way, right? We're not going to differentiate Web2 music from Web3 music. That would just simply be bizarre. But coming to your point about reaching out to Web2 audiences, I mean, we do a lot of advertising on that as well. We literally spend 5,000 US dollars a day on Facebook, on IG. I mean, we are building games. We have 2 games under our ecosystem right now. So what goes out there is not NFT content. It's not cryptocurrency content. It's gameplay footage, right? You
Yeah.
mask all of the blockchain elements. All of those are in the background. Web2 users, sometimes they get traumatized when they hear about Web3 games. They're like, shit, I'm not going to touch this thing. But then, you kind of hook them in with the real fun element, the real gameplay element. And I imagine it's the same for music, right? It's just, it's just a different medium altogether. They can enjoy it all at the same time. It's like whether you tune in music from Spotify or the radio or, one of those turntable systems, it does not matter.
And like kind of coming from the background most of the team come from is realizing that like by like, so for instance, you're paying that money in advertising, like what we could do is we can put you in a field with 100,000 people. We can say to one of the acts that's on the festival, would you like your song in this game? They then connect with their audience, and all of a sudden they've already got a close connection to your game and your product you're selling, because it's come from a band that they follow for 10 years. They like the music. it's in the festival. They play a game in like AR and they find something, gives them a free drink, and like that whole package as an experience is like what this technology can enable is. And it's not, like you say, it's not about separating it. And you know, like Download Festival, the top 30 acts. Like when we went out to the sponsors, and they was like, "What's your reach?" I said, "Well, the top 30 acts have got a reach of like 900 million on social, and then we got Live Nation's mailing list, and and like all of a sudden it's like more desirable than kind of TV and radio, and is more targeted, eliminating like useless advertising spend, and like really giving fans something that's, you know, cool as well." Like, you know, if I go to watch a band and like, because I've stayed there for the duration of that set, I get dropped, you know, I get dropped something into my game which gives me a free drink in like a secret area, and like it's about like gamifying like the whole experience. Is not just about like, let's find someone I can sell my stuff to. How can we sell it? Like that's and that's where I kind of like see like what Web3 enabling really is, kind of taking people on like longer journeys, not just direct dropping shit to them on Facebook that they don't need, which, you know, I'm sure like, you know, everyone gets.
Yeah, and rewarding loyalty and permanence over time, right? You want your biggest fans to have the closest connection to you and get those benefits rather than people who just showed up yesterday.
Yeah, because it takes a long time to build a fan base. Like, you know, like I said, we've done it twice. We did it in rock, and you know, like we've done it in dance music now. And like at the end of the day, you respect the fact that you've built up like X amount of million followers, and you know these people have listened to your music and kind of paid your bills for the last like 5-6 years. So you don't really want to just kind of sell your soul then after and just deliver any old shit to them that they probably don't want. You know, it's got to be curated stuff that's like neutrally kind of like beneficial and interesting to everyone in the chain.
Yeah, I think a lot of Web3 projects are founded for the wrong reasons, which is to raise money. Right? That is a flawed approach. I mean, you do not start a business to make money, right? You start a business to solve problems, to add value to your stakeholders, or to add value to your customers, right? And I think being able to want to capitalize on spending, that should all be secondary. It's about what you can offer in terms of utility first. And for games, it's about being free to play, right? And music as well. You want to capture that emotional aspect, right? We're in the creative space, and people want to come in, they want to do it, you know, low barriers, fast free. So all of these learning curves, you put that all aside. The blockchain jargon is just way too complex, man.
Yeah, 100%. And that's it. There's like, you know, the reason why creatives don't earn as much money as they should is because no one starts doing music because they think, right, okay, I'm going to pay my bills. You know, like they start doing music because they want to kind of just project their creativity and kind of experience life, maybe travel, and you know, and like from our experiences, there's nothing better than kind of like playing a song and stopping and like 10-20,000 people sing that chorus back to you, and you know the people on that stage, you have been in the back of a van for like 6 years trying to get where you're getting, and that's like it's very easy then for kind of someone to step in and go, yeah, but you didn't make no money. But like, it's like, yeah, but that experience is what we started it for. You know, the only reason why the kind of money pressure comes in after is like, you know, like kind of life gets in the way. But you know, I didn't even think about money, and like Luke's laughing here now. Like, you know, I remember we were on a tour bus in Germany and we'd done like the 14th show in front of like 30,000 people. And we were like, are we earning money for all this? Because we hadn't even, our feet hadn't touched the floor from the day that we kind of wanted to tell the world about our music. And like, you know, quickly to go back as well is like, yes, Napster didn't pay us any money. Like, but it wasn't a negative thing, because before that we would have had to travel to London with like a tape and give it to an A&R, and hopefully they turn up to the gig. Whereas with us, all of a sudden 1 million people downloaded our song, and we started being, you know, we got on like a few kind of big games, and you know, then the bookings started coming in. And you know, before that, yes, we were in control of our all of our art, and we were earning £10 off a CD, but we were playing a club in the valleys to like 6 people, you know. And then as soon as like everyone kind of heard about it, the next thing, like we were on tour with Bruce Springsteen and kind of like doing like real big gigs and kind of actually reaching out to an audience. So, you know, for every like it's kind of easy to take a step back and look, oh, you know, that's really negative because artists don't get that much. But even with Spotify now, it's amazing how many people can listen to your music and how you can kind of outreach people, and they haven't got a fair narrative on like how they monetize it, but that's their prerogative. Like, you know, in Web3 now, I'm hoping because of the narrative everyone gives, it will be fairer. But ultimately, people are going to do it to make money, you know, and the creatives are going to keep playing for free just because they want people to listen to this stuff.
Yeah, but I respect builders, man. Like people who are here for the long haul. Like you said, cultivating a loyal base, a fan base, that takes time, it takes effort. And you can't lie through that passion. And I can feel your energy, man. I mean, you're just bursting with energy. I mean, that's just amazing to see. You know, we have just been burning every single month. We've been building games now for 2.5 years in the Web3 space. We are self-funded, by the way, right? We've got $2 million worth of revenue to date, which is nothing because we spend way more than that. But what we're proud of to be able to do is just be able to roll out games that are friendly for Web2 and Web3 users, you know, something easy to use, something free and fun to play. And we build a really strong community out there. People are just happy, come together from different parts of the world, all kinds of age groups. And it's just so satisfying, it's just so fulfilling to see that.
Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah, yeah, that definitely. Pog, what's going on? You released some golf balls, didn't you? With some logos on this week.
No, those are just for fun, bro. Yeah, funny. Nothing. Just came in. Sorry we were late. Wanted to jump into the conversation, but it sounds like you guys are off and running, so didn't want to jump in or interrupt or anything. But yeah, cool. Nice to be here.
Yeah, so I guess like with the Pog thing is like, you know, I kind of said this before. The guys jumped on. I remembered I had a collection in the attic, and kind of, I found it all. I've had it framed just behind me in the office now, and like remembering like kind of, you know, my mother used to take me to the shop, and like I get a Pog pack a week, and I'd open it, and you know kind of reminds me of like that journey aspect, you know, that journey of collecting and kind of that's the narrative that I think is kind of been highlighted now again, like with kind of NFTs, because you feel part of something, you know, like our friend, you know, go to school with your friends and you're swapping your pogs and you're trying to get that collection. Like, it's not really about getting a collection or how much money pogs make or how much money is made. It's about like, you know, that experience and kind of like harnessing that time and kind of what it does to you. And yeah, and I think it's the same with music. I think it's the same with like kind of any kind of creative like kind of outlets, really.
Yeah, definitely, dude. A lot of the experiences that you guys are bringing about are visceral and tangible, and so we're not necessarily trying to do what music can do. Music take you, and like music itself can like almost reverse aging. It can almost reverse Alzheimer's. Like the magic of music is so deep, and I think we're just excited about bringing back the nostalgia and trying to help some old heads feel like kids again, and
But it's the same thing, though.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, isn't it? You know, like you listen to songs, it takes you back to somewhere. I'll be honest, like I completely forgot about the Pog thing. Then one of your guys mentioned it, and like, you know, opening them boxes and finding it, that took me back, bro. I was like, you know, I was a kid again when I opened that box. The only difference is now I can afford to buy the ones I was missing, you know?
And that's the thing.
You guys are taking me back a
100%.
lot today.
Yeah, dude. We're
Lots of nostalgia.
yeah. So we're all about it, dude. Like, we're trying to do our best part to like bring our 200 million collectors from the physical space to the digital space. We really do think that music has this like beautiful place in Web3, and so we were pumped to be part of this conversation. But regrettably, we had a couple meetings that tied us up, unfortunately. But yeah, what a great conversation to have.
Masman,
Hey, well said. Well said.
Masman, you got excited about the POC suddenly.
I think
It's kind of a collection of all the things that Matt Bond keeps saying. Matt's just a great storyteller. It makes me happy that he's in music, because you can tell from a couple short stories that the man has got a lot of nostalgia.
Dude,
going.
the guy has
and loves to tell stories.
the guy has collections. Don't get him started on it.
We got to watch out there, huh? You know what? I would love to touch on like the technical side of NFTs and music too, because it is simply amazing what you can do with a smart contract and royalty on music, and how someone can decide to sell a piece of music from one person to another, and the person who has the original royalties is getting paid literally within seconds to a smart wallet that was set up years ago. And it's an amazing thing.
Yeah, I like we've kind of like looked into this, and is I think the most exciting thing about all of this for me and kind of a lot of like other songwriters is if you write a piece of music and like your sample gets used. So like like for example, we wrote a song. Some of the guys on the call now. We wrote a song, went number one in Turkey, a couple of 100 million plays. Like they used 80% of our music. Went to number one. Like our royalties come through and it was like $80, and the reason why it was $80 is because there was no one that could kind of gauge it and do the collection of the royalties from Turkey. So we're speaking to like 2 or 3 different major labels to try and get the people we need to go to. Whereas like if music's put on chain, it eliminates that. Like you can immediately like identify which bits of those songs samples have been used, and kind of and it gets rid of like a huge problem in music. And the other thing then is like if we can ever move to like lightning payments, so as soon as a song's streamed, even if it's like a fraction of a penny, it drops into your wallet straight away. Like why it takes 6 months to get any royalties out of people is absolutely beyond me. There's like I can't think of another business in the world where you imagine going to a restaurant and saying, yeah, I'll eat that steak there, I'll pay you in 6 months. Like it would just never happen.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, that's. I love to pay for steaks in 6 months. That would be nice. I would be eating steak every week then. Cool.
For every week for 6 months.
I think that the one biggest
just
problem,
just
though, like
just
the
delay
biggest
payment.
the
Go,
biggest
go.
problem with music on the blockchain is that issue between like it really is an issue between supply versus value, because like what we've seen in streaming is that you could either have 100 million views and no money, or you could have now like a label or excuse me, like an album that is hard to get your hands on, but you can monetize it a lot stronger because there's fewer of them. And so I think there's two avenues that musicians have to go down, one or the other, or maybe a mix of both depending on their music or their songs, but making songs that are only going to be available as an NFT or as a digital collectible that you can't listen to unless you own that collectible. And that's how they're going to monetize. But that's going to reduce the number of plays that they're going to get, the amount of people that are going to hear that specific song. And so it'll have to be a mesh of both the strategy of like the shotgun approach, where you have an album or you have a number of songs that are like going out to everybody and people can listen to them. And then maybe there's hidden tracks on an album or hidden tracks that only if you own that collectible or that digital album that you can access. Because the fact is if you have 1 million plays, you're not going to be getting like it. How do you both keep value on something that there are 1 million of, right? Like, how do you token gate the access of something? We've gotten so used to music, and I'm just like trying to verbalize this thought that I've been having for a while. But like, how do you monetize something that we've gotten so used to having almost for free, right? For $15 to $30 on Apple, I can listen to any music, any song that I want to, and that's the problem for creators, is they're not getting paid typically, or very very little, on a crazy number of plays. Whereas on the blockchain, you could tokenize your song, and only if and token gate it, but you're going to have far less views. So I think there is an element of like mixing it. I don't almost think that it's going to be one way or the other. I think that like you'll have to have a strategy of like music that goes out to everybody to build out the demand and the audience, but then
Yeah,
having those like
100%.
very unique experiences for your core fans.
Yeah, definitely. Like I kind of see the token gating thing as that's something that works when you've already got a fan base. Like if you've got a fan base of say like 50 to 100,000 of like fans that like listen to you regularly, like they will kind of spend the money to do a meet and greet with a band. You got like 3 4K from 1 million plays. Like if you build your catalog up and you work hard enough, you can make like a pretty decent living out of getting like we all make a good living out of it, but we have to do a lot of songs, and that's just the job. that's the thing, is like, it's not going to get easier, because I think there's far too many, like, companies, you know, the mission isn't fair, so we just need this new tax.
Cool. I mean, I'm loving this conversation, guys. We tapped in a lot of things, but let's wrap it up for this evening. If anyone wants to, I'll give anyone a shot to have their closing thought, and make sure if you haven't joined our Discord yet to join today, because for 24 hours we will give you the OG whitelist role. Clifford, is there something you want to say before we wrap up?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm really interested. I mean, this is me personal as a producer, really interested in what you guys are doing, and I'm going to hop on that allow list, hopefully, and see if I can join it. Really fascinated with what you guys are doing. And then secondly, if any of the projects here listening are interested in releasing an inscription, or anybody here is interested in buying inscriptions, shoot us a DM or check out our marketplace. We've built something pretty cool. But other than that, I love what you guys are building. I'm excited to learn more of it, and I'm definitely going to join it.
Thanks, man. Yeah, definitely going to check that out with the inscriptions. That's definitely something to keep an eye on as well. Masma, what's up?
Oh, I enjoyed the talk quite a bit today. Matt, Bond, we still got the gist of what you were saying. We were still inspired, even though it broke up a bit, and still ever inspired by all the possibilities of NFTs and what Web3 can do. So thank you for having us today, guys.
Nice one, Masma. Tipcoin, what's up, my man?
Hey guys. Great seeing some familiar faces in the audience. Shout out to those penguins out there. Thank you, everyone. Like, literally, thanks for making time, join these spaces. And it was really nice, like, being able to banter, with the other speakers here on the different thoughts on how music can change because of the NFT blockchain space. We are releasing our spaceships on the 16th of April. If anyone would like to get early access, there is over 120,000 people right now in the wait list. But if you want a spot, just sign up for our wait list, and you might actually get a chance to snag one of those. We were covered on Farouk's show yesterday. If anyone wants to catch that, I'll just pin it up in the spaces. Lots of love. See you guys around.
Sure, yeah, pin it up on the space. Great to have you on. Ravel, my man, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, hey everybody, thanks for the good conversation. We are a free app on iOS and Apple, so feel free to check us out if you're so inclined.
Cool, free apps. We all love a free app, right? Cool, guys. Next week our space is about AI. We had a very great conversation last week. Got a bit heated, so definitely join our space next week. And thanks for everyone for joining. See you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.